Act I of The Mikado, or the Town of Titipu, a solo recitation. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by David Wales. The Mikado, or the Town of Titipu, a solo recitation, by W.S. Gilbert. Act I. The Mikado, or the Town of Titipu, by William S. Gilbert. Music by Sir Arthur Sullivan. Dramatis Personae: the Mikado of Japan. Nanki-Poo, his son, disguised as a wandering minstrel and in love with Yum-Yum. Ko-Ko, Lord High Executioner of Titipu. Pooh-Bah, Lord High Everything Else. Pish-Tish, a noble lord. Three sisters, wards of Ko-Ko: Yum-Yum, Pitti-Sing, Peep-Bo. Katisha, an elderly lady in love with Nanki-Poo. Chorus of schoolgirls, nobles, guards, and coolies. Act I, courtyard of Ko-Ko's official residence. Act II, Ko-Ko's garden. First produced at the Savoy Theatre on March 14th, 1885. Act I. Scene: courtyard of Ko-Ko's palace in Titipu. Japanese nobles discovered standing and sitting in attitudes suggested by native drawings. Chorus of nobles. If you want to know who we are gentlemen of Japan. On many a vase and jar, on many a screen and fan, we figure in lively paint, our attitudes queer and quaint. You're wrong if you think it ain't, oh! If you think we are worked by strings, like a Japanese marionette, you don't understand these things. It is simply court etiquette. Perhaps you suppose this throng can't keep it up all day long. If that's your idea, you're wrong, oh! Enter Nanki-Poo in great excitement. He carries a native guitar on his back and a bundle of ballads in his hand. Recitative. Nanki-Poo. Gentlemen, I pray you tell me, where a gentle maiden dwelleth, named Yum-Yum, the ward of Ko-Ko. In pity speak, oh speak, I pray you. A noble. Why, who are you who ask this question? Nanki-Poo. Come gather round me, and I'll tell you. Song and chorus. Nanki-Poo. A wandering minstrel I, a thing of shreds and patches, of ballads, songs, and snatches, and dreamy lullaby. My catalogue is long, through every passion ranging, and to your humours changing I tune my supple song. Are you in sentimental mood? I'll sigh with you. Oh, sorrow, sorrow! On maiden's coldness do you brood? I'll do so too. Oh, sorrow, sorrow! I'll charm your willing ears with songs of lovers' fears, while sympathetic tears my cheeks bedew. Oh, sorrow, sorrow! But if patriotic sentiment is wanted, I've patriotic ballads cut and dried, for where'er our country's banner may be planted, all other local banners are defied. Our warriors in serried ranks assembled never quail, or they conceal it if they do, and I shouldn't be surprised if nations trembled before the mighty troops of Titipu. Chorus. We shouldn't be surprised if nations trembled before the mighty troops of Titipu. Nanki-Poo. And if you call for a song of the sea, we'll heave the capstan round with a yo-heave-ho, for the wind is free, her anchor's a-trip and her helm's a-lee. Hurrah for the homeward bound! Chorus. Yo-ho, heave-ho, hurrah for the homeward bound! To lay aloft in a howling breeze may tickle a landsman's taste, but the happiest hour a sailor sees is when he's down at an inland town with his Nancy on his knees, yo-ho, and his arm around her waist. Chorus. Then man the capstan, off we go, as the fiddler swings us round, with a yo-he-ho and a rum below, hurrah for the homeward bound! A wandering minstrel I, etc., etc. Enter Pish-Tish. Pish-Tish. And what may be your business with Yum-Yum? Nanki-Poo. I'll tell you. A year ago I was a member of the Titipu town band. It was my duty to take the cap round for contributions. While discharging this delicate office, I saw Yum Yum. We loved each other at once, but she was betrothed to her guardian Koko, a cheap tailor, and I saw that my suit was hopeless. Overwhelmed with despair, I quitted the town. Judge of my delight when I heard a month ago that Koko had been condemned to death for flirting. I hurried back at once in the hope of finding Yum Yum at liberty to listen to my protestations. Pish-Tish. It is true that Koko was condemned to death for flirting, but he was reprieved at the last moment and raised to the exalted rank of Lord High Executioner under the following remarkable circumstances. Song, Pish-Tish and Chorus. Our great Mikado, virtuous man, when he to rule our land began, resolved to try a plan whereby young men might best be steadied. So he decreed, in words succinct, that all who flirted, leered, or winked, unless connubially linked, should forthwith be beheaded. And I expect you'll all agree that he was right to so decree, and I am right, and you are right, and all is right as right can be. Chorus. And you are right, and we are right, etc. This stern decree, you'll understand, caused great dismay throughout the land. For young and old and shy and bold were equally affected. The youth who winked a roving eye, or breathed a non-connubial sigh, was thereupon condemned to die. He usually objected. And you'll allow, as I expect, that he was right to so object, and I am right, and you are right, and everything is quite correct. Chorus. And you are right, and we are right, etc. And so we straight let out on bail a convict from the county jail, whose head was next on some pretext condemned to be mown off, and made him headsman, for we said, who's next to be decapited cannot cut off another's head unless he's cut his own off. And we are right, I think you'll say, to argue in this kind of way, and I am right, and you are right, and all is right, to loo-ray. Chorus. And you are right, and we are right, etc. Exeunt Chorus. Enter Pooh Bah. Nanki Poo. Koko, the cheap tailor, Lord High Executioner of Titipu. Why, that's the highest rank a citizen can obtain. Pooh Bah. It is. Our logical Mikado, seeing no moral difference between the dignified judge who condemns a criminal to die and the industrious mechanic who carries out the sentence, has rolled the two offices into one, and every judge is now his own executioner. Nanki Poo. But how good of you, for I see that you are a nobleman of the highest rank, to condescend to tell all this to me, a mere strolling minstrel. Pooh Bah. Oh, don't mention it. I am, in point of fact, a particularly haughty and exclusive person of pre-Adamite ancestral descent. You will understand this when I tell you that I trace my ancestry back to a protoplasmal, primordial, atomic globule. Consequently, my family pride is something inconceivable. I can't help it. I was born sneering. But I struggle hard to overcome this defect. I mortify my pride continually. When all the great officers of state resigned in a body because they were too proud to serve under an ex-tailor, did I not unhesitatingly accept all their posts at once? Pish-Tish. And the salaries attached to them? You did. Pooh Bah. It is consequently my degrading duty to serve this upstart as First Lord of the Treasury, Lord Chief Justice, Commander-in-Chief, Lord High Admiral, Master of the Buckhounds, Groom of the Back Stairs, Archbishop of Titipu, and Lord Mayor, both acting and elect, all rolled into one, and at a salary. A Pooh Bah paid for his services. I, a salaried minion. But I do it. It revolts me, but I do it. Nanki Poo. And it does you credit. Pooh Bah. But I don't stop at that. I go and dine with middle-class people on reasonable terms. I dance at cheap suburban parties for a moderate fee. I accept refreshment at any hands, however lowly. I also retail state secrets at a very low figure. For instance, any further information about Yum Yum would come under the head of a state secret. Nanki Poo takes his hint and gives him money. Aside. Another insult, and, I think, a light one. Song. Pooh-Bah with Nanki Poo and Pish-Tish. Young man, despair, likewise go to Yum Yum the fair, you must not woo, it will not do, I'm sorry for you, you very imperfect ablutioner. This very day from school Yum Yum will wend her way, and homeward come with beat of drum and a rum-tum-tum, to wed the Lord High Executioner, and the brass will crash and the trumpets bray, and they'll cut a dash on their wedding day. She'll toddle away as Oliver with the Lord High Executioner. Nanki Poo and Pooh-Bah. And the brass will crash, etc. It's a hopeless case, as you may see, and in your place away I'd flee. But don't blame me, I'm sorry to be of your pleasure a diminutioner. They'll vow their pact extremely soon, in point of fact this afternoon. Her honeymoon with that buffoon at 7 commences, so you shun her. All. And the brass will crash, etc. Exit Pish-Tush. Recitative, Nanki Poo and Pooh-Bah. Nanki Poo. And I have journeyed for a month, or nearly, to learn that Yum Yum, whom I love so dearly, this day to Ko-Ko is to be united. Pooh-Bah. The fact appears to be as you've recited, but here he comes, equipped as suits his station. He'll give you any further information. Exeunt Pooh-Bah and Nanki Poo. Enter Chorus of Nobles. Behold the Lord High Executioner, a personage of noble rank and title, a dignified and potent officer, whose functions are particularly vital. Defer, defer to the Lord High Executioner. Enter Ko-Ko, attended. Solo Ko-Ko. Taken from the county jail by a set of curious chances, liberated then on bail, on my own recognizances, wafted by a favouring gale, as one sometimes is in trances, to a height that few can scale, save by long and weary dances, surely never had a male, under such like circumstances, so adventurous a tale, which may rank with most romances. Chorus. Defer, defer to the Lord High Executioner, etc. Ko-Ko. Gentlemen, I'm much touched by this reception. I can only trust that by strict attention to duty I shall ensure a continuance of those favours which it will ever be my study to deserve. If I should ever be called upon to act professionally, I am happy to think that there will be no difficulty in finding plenty of people whose loss will be a distinct gain to society at large. Song. Ko-Ko with Chorus of Men. As some day it may happen that a victim must be found, I've got a little list, I've got a little list, of society offenders who might well be underground, and who never would be missed, who never would be missed. There's the pestilential nuisances who write for autographs, all people who have flabby hands and irritating laughs, all children who are up on dates and floor you with 'em flat, all persons who, in shaking hands, shake hands with you like that, and all third persons who on spoiling tete-a-tetes insist. They'd none of them be missed, they'd none of 'em be missed. Chorus. He's got 'em on the list, he's got 'em on the list, and they'd none of them be missed, they'd none of them be missed. There's the banjo serenader and the others of his race, and the piano organist, I've got him on the list, and the people who eat peppermint and puff it in your face. They never would be missed, they never would be missed. Then the idiot who praises with enthusiastic tone all centuries but this, and every country but his own, and the lady from the provinces who dresses like a guy, and who doesn't think she waltzes but would rather like to try. And that singular anomaly, the lady novelist, I don't think she'd be missed, I'm sure she'd not be missed. Chorus. He's got her on the list, he's got her on the list, and I don't think she'd be missed, I'm sure she'd not be missed. And that Nisi Prius nuisance who just now is rather rife, the judicial humorist, I've got him on the list. All funny fellows, comic men, and clowns of private life, they'd none of 'em be missed, they'd none of 'em be missed. And apologetic statesmen of a compromising kind, such as, what do you call 'em, Thingamabob, and likewise never mind, and and what's his name, and also you know who. The task of filling up the blanks I'd rather leave to you. But it really doesn't matter whom you put upon the list, for they'd none of 'em be missed, they'd none of 'em be missed. Chorus. You may put them on the list, you may put 'em on the list, and they'd none of 'em be missed, they'd none of 'em be missed. Enter Pooh Bah. KO. Pooh Bah, it seems that the festivities in connection with my approaching marriage must last a week. I should like to do it handsomely, and I want to consult you as to the amount I ought to spend upon them. Pooh Bah. Certainly. In which of my capacities? As First Lord of the Treasury, Lord Chamberlain, Attorney General, Chancellor of the Exchequer, Privy Purse, or Private Secretary? KO. Suppose we say as Private Secretary. Pooh Bah. Speaking as your private secretary, I should say that as the city will have to pay for it, don't stint yourself. Do it well. KO. Exactly. As the city will have to pay for it, that is your advice? Pooh Bah. As private secretary, of course you will understand that as Chancellor of the Exchequer I am bound to see that due economy is observed. KO. Oh, but you said just now, don't stint yourself, do it well. Pooh Bah. As private secretary. KO. And now you say that due economy must be observed. Pooh Bah. As Chancellor of the Exchequer. KO. I see. Come over here, where the Chancellor can't hear us. They cross the stage. Now, as my solicitor, how do you advise me to deal with this difficulty? Pooh Bah. Oh, as your solicitor, I should have no hesitation in saying, chance it. KO. Thank you. Shaking his hand. I will. Pooh Bah. If it were not that, as Lord Chief Justice, I am bound to see that the law isn't violated. KO. I see. Come over here, where the Chief Justice can't hear us. They cross the stage. Now then, as First Lord of the Treasury. Pooh Bah. Of course, as First Lord of the Treasury, I could propose a special vote that would cover all expenses, if it were not that, as Leader of the Opposition, it would be my duty to resist it tooth and nail. Or, as Paymaster General, I could so cook the accounts that as Lord High Auditor I should never discover the fraud. But then, as Archbishop of Titipu, it would be my duty to denounce my dishonesty and give myself into my own custody as First Commissioner of Police. KO. That's extremely awkward. Pooh Bah. I don't say that all these distinguished people couldn't be squared, but it is right to tell you that they wouldn't be sufficiently degraded in their own estimation unless they were insulted with a very considerable bribe. KO. The matter shall have my careful consideration, but my bride and her sisters approach, and any little compliment on your part, such as an abject grovel in a characteristic Japanese attitude, would be esteemed a favour. Pooh Bah. No money, no grovel. Exeunt together. Enter procession of Yum Yum schoolfellows, heralding Yum Yum, Peep Bo, and Pitti Sing. Chorus of Girls. Comes a train of little ladies from scholastic trammels free, each a little bit afraid is, wondering what the world can be. Is it but a world of trouble, sadness set to song? Is its beauties but a bubble, bound to break ere long? Are its palaces and pleasures fantasies that fade, and the glory of its treasures shadow of a shade? Schoolgirls we, 18 and under, from scholastic trammels free, and we wonder, how we wonder, what on earth the world can be. Trio. Yum Yum, Peep Bo, and Pitti Sing, with chorus of girls. The Three. Three little maids from school are we, pert as a schoolgirl well can be, filled to the brim with girlish glee, three little maids from school. Yum Yum. Everything is a source of fun. Chuckle. Peep Bo. Nobody's safe, for we care for none. Chuckle. Pitti Sing. Life is a joke that's just begun. Chuckle. The Three. Three little maids from school. All dancing. Three little maids who all unwary come from a lady's seminary, freed from its genius tutelary. The three suddenly demur. Three little maids from school. Yum. One little maid is a bride. Yum. Peep-bo. Two little maids in attendance come. Pity-sing. Three little maids is a total sum. The three little maids from school. Yum. From three little maids take one away. Peep-bo. Two little maids remain, and they Pity-sing. Won't have to wait very long, they say. The three little maids from school. All dancing. Three little maids who, all unwary, come from a lady's seminary, freed from its genius tutelary. The three suddenly demur. Three little maids from school. Enter Ko and Pooh-Bah. Ko. At last, my bride that is to be. About to embrace her. Yum. You're not going to kiss me before all these people? Ko. Well, that was the idea. Yum. Aside to Peep-bo. It seems odd, doesn't it? Peep-bo. It's rather peculiar. Pity-sing. Oh, I expect it's all right. Must have a beginning, you know. Yum. Well, of course, I know nothing about these things, but I've no objection if it's usual. Ko. Oh, it's quite usual, I think. Lord Chamberlain? Appealing to Pooh-Bah. Pooh-Bah. I have known it done. Ko embraces her. Yum. Thank goodness that's over. Sees Nanki Poo and rushes to him. Why, that's never you! The three girls rush to him and shake his hands, all speaking at once. Yum. Oh, I'm so glad! I haven't seen you for ever so long, and I'm right at the top of the school, and I've got 3 prizes, and I've come home for good, and I'm not going back any more. Peep-bo. And have you got an engagement? Yum's got one, but she doesn't like it, and she'd ever so much rather it was you. I've come home for good, and I'm not going back any more. Pity-sing. Now tell us all the news, because you go about everywhere, and we've been at school, but thank goodness that's all over now, and we've come home for good, and we're not going back any more. These 3 speeches are spoken together in one breath. Ko. I beg your pardon. Will you present me? Yum. Oh, this is the musician who used Peep-bo. Oh, this is the gentleman who used Pity-sing. Oh, it is only Nanki Poo who used Ko. One at a time, if you please. Yum. Oh, if you please, he's the gentleman who used to play so beautifully on the Pity-sing, on the Marine Parade. Yum. Yes, I think that was the name of the instrument. Nanki Poo. Sir, I have the misfortune to love your ward, Yum. Oh, I know I deserve your anger. Ko. Anger? Not a bit, my boy. Why, I love her myself. Charming little girl, isn't she? Pretty eyes, nice hair. Taking little thing altogether. Very glad to hear my opinion backed by a competent authority. Thank you very much. Goodbye. To Pish-Tish. Take him away. Pish-Tish removes him. Pity-sing, who has been examining Pooh-Bah. I beg your pardon, but what is this? Customer come to try on? Ko. That is a tremendous swell. Pity-sing. Oh, it's alive! She starts back in alarm. Pooh-Bah. Go away, little girls. Can't talk to little girls like you. Go away, there's dears. Ko. Allow me to present you, Pooh-Bah. These are my 3 wards. The one in the middle is my bride-elect. Pooh-Bah. What do you want me to do to them? Mind, I will not kiss them. Ko. Oh, no, you shan't kiss them. A little bow, a mere nothing. You needn't mean it, you know. Pooh-Bah. It goes against the grain. They are not young ladies, they are young persons. Ko. Come, make an effort, there's a good nobleman. Pooh-Bah. (aside to Ko). Well, I shan't mean it. With a great effort. How-de-do, little girls, how-de-do. (Aside.) Oh, my protoplasmal ancestor. Ko. That's very good. Girls indulge in suppressed laughter. Pooh-Bah. I see nothing to laugh at. It is very painful to me to have to say how-de-do, little girls, how-de-do, to young persons. I'm not in the habit of saying how-de-do, little girls, how-de-do, to anybody under the rank of a stockbroker. Ko. (aside to girls). Don't laugh at him, he can't help it. He's under treatment for it. (Aside to Pooh-Bah). Never mind them, they don't understand the delicacy of your position. Pooh-Bah. We know how delicate it is, don't we? Ko. I should think we did. How a nobleman of your importance can do it at all is a thing I never can, never shall understand. Ko retires and goes off. Quartet and Chorus of Girls. Yum, Peep Bo, Pitti Sing, and Pooh Bah. Yum, Peep Bo, and Pitti Sing. So please you, sir, we much regret if we have failed in etiquette towards a man of rank so high. We shall know better by and by. Yum. But youth, of course, must have its fling, so pardon us, Pitti Sing. And don't in girlhood's happy spring be hard on us, if we're inclined to dance and sing, tra-la-la-la-la-la, etc. Dancing. Chorus of Girls. But youth, of course, etc. Pooh Bah. Think you ought to recollect, you cannot show too much respect towards the highly titled few, but nobody does, and why should you? That youth at us should have its fling is hard on us. To our prerogative we cling, so pardon us, if we decline to dance and sing, tra-la-la-la, etc. Dancing. Chorus of Girls. But youth, of course, must have its fling, etc. Exeunt all but Yum. Enter Nanki Poo. Nanki Poo. Yum, at last we are alone. I have sought you night and day for 3 weeks in the belief that your guardian was beheaded, and I find that you are about to be married to him this afternoon. Yum. Alas, yes. Nanki Poo. But you do not love him? Yum. Alas, no. Nanki Poo. Modified rapture. But why do you not refuse him? Yum. What good would that do? He's my guardian, and he wouldn't let me marry you. Nanki Poo. But I should wait until you were of age. Yum. You forget that in Japan girls do not arrive at years of discretion until they are 50. Nanki Poo. True, from 17 to 49 are considered years of indiscretion. Yum. Besides, a wandering minstrel who plays a wind instrument outside tea-houses is hardly a fitting husband for the ward of a Lord High Executioner. Nanki Poo. But, aside, shall I tell her? Yes, she will not betray me. Aloud. What if I should prove that after all I am no musician? Yum. There, I was certain of it directly I heard you play. Nanki Poo. What if I should prove that I am no other than the son of His Majesty the Mikado? Yum. The son of the Mikado? But why is your Highness disguised? And what has your Highness done? And will your Highness promise never to do it again? Nanki Poo. Some years ago I had the misfortune to captivate Katisha, an elderly lady of my father's court. She misconstrued my customary affability into expressions of affection, and claimed me in marriage under my father's law. My father, the Lucius Junius Brutus of his race, ordered me to marry her within a week, or perish ignominiously on the scaffold. That night I fled his court, and assuming the disguise of a second trombone, I joined the band in which you found me when I had the happiness of seeing you. Approaching her. Yum, retreating. If you please, I think your Highness had better not come too near. The laws against flirting are excessively severe. Nanki Poo. But we are quite alone, and nobody can see us. Yum. Still, that don't make it right. To flirt is capital. Nanki Poo. It is capital. Yum. And we must obey the law. Nanki Poo. Deuce take the law. Yum. I wish it would, but it won't. Nanki Poo. If it were not for that, how happy we might be. Yum. Happy indeed. Yanki Poo. If it were not for the law, we should now be sitting side by side, like that. Sits by her. Yum. Instead of being obliged to sit half a mile off, like that. Crosses and sits at the other side of stage. Nanki Poo. We should be gazing into each other's eyes, like that. Gazing at her sentimentally. Yum. Breathing sighs of unutterable love, like that. Sighing and gazing lovingly at him. Nanki Poo. With our arms around each other's waists, like that. Embracing her. Yum. Yes, if it wasn't for the law. Nanki Poo. If it wasn't for the law. Yum. As it is, of course, we couldn't do anything of the kind. Nanki Poo. Not for worlds. YUM. Being engaged to Ko, you know. Nanki Poo. Being engaged to Ko. Duet. Yum and Nanki Poo. Nanki Poo. Were you not to Ko plighted, I would say in tender tone, Loved one, let us be united, let us be each other's own. I would merge all rank and station, worldly sneers are naught to us, and to mark my admiration, I would kiss you fondly thus. Kisses her. Both. I would kiss you fondly thus, he would kiss me fondly thus. Kiss. Yum. But as I'm engaged to Ko, to embrace you thus con fuoco would distinctly be no Giucoco, and for Yam I should get Toko. Both. Toko. Nanki Poo. So in spite of all temptation, such a theme I'll not discuss, and on no consideration will I kiss you fondly thus. Kissing her. Let me make it clear to you, this is what I'll never do. This, oh this, oh this, oh this. Kissing her. Together. This, oh this, etc. Exeunt in opposite directions. Enter Ko. Looking after Yum. There she goes! To think how entirely my future happiness is wrapped up in that little parcel. Really, it hardly seems worth while. Oh, matrimony! Enter Pooh Bah and Pish Tish. Now then, what is it? Can't you see I'm soliloquizing? You have interrupted an apostrophe, sir. Pish Tish. I am the bearer of a letter from His Majesty the Mikado. Ko, taking it from him reverentially. A letter from the Mikado! What in the world can he have to say to me? Reads letter. Ah, here it is at last! I thought it would come sooner or later. The Mikado is struck by the fact that no executions have taken place in Titipu for a year, and decrees that unless somebody is beheaded within 1 month, the post of Lord High Executioner will be abolished, and the city reduced to the rank of a village. Pish Tish. But that will involve us all in irretrievable ruin. Ko. Yes, there is no help for it. I shall have to execute somebody at once. The only question is, who shall it be? Pooh Bah. Well, it seems unkind to say so, but as you're already under sentence of death for flirting, everything seems to point to you. Ko. To me? What are you talking about? I can't execute myself. Pooh Bah. Why not? Ko. Why not? Because in the first place self-decapitation is an extremely difficult, not to say dangerous, thing to attempt, and in the second it's suicide, and suicide is a capital offence. Pooh Bah. That is so, no doubt. Pish Tish. We might reserve that point. Pooh Bah. True, it could be argued 6 months hence, before the full court. Ko. Besides, I don't see how a man can cut off his own head. Pooh Bah. A man might try. Pish Tish. Even if you only succeeded in cutting it half off, that would be something. Pooh Bah. It would be taken as an earnest of your desire to comply with the imperial will. Ko. No. Pardon me, but there I am adamant. As official headsman, my reputation is at stake, and I can't consent to embark on a professional operation unless I see my way to a successful result. Pooh Bah. This professional conscientiousness is highly creditable to you, but it places us in a very awkward position. Ko. My good sir, the awkwardness of your position is grace itself compared with that of a man engaged in the act of cutting off his own head. Pish Tish. I am afraid that unless you can obtain a substitute— Ko. A substitute? Oh, certainly. Nothing easier. To Pooh Bah. Pooh Bah, I appoint you Lord High Substitute. Pooh Bah. I should be delighted. Such an appointment would realize my fondest dreams. But no, at any sacrifice, I must set bounds to my insatiable ambition. Trio. Ko, Pooh Bah, Pish Tish. Ko. My brain it teems with endless schemes, both good and new, for Titipu, but if I flit, the benefit that I'll diffuse the town would lose. Now every man to aid his clan should plot and plan as best he can, and so I'm ready to go, yet recollect 'twere disrespect did I neglect to this effect, this aim direct, so I object. Pooh-Bah. I am so proud, if I allowed my family pride to be my guide, I'd volunteer to quit this sphere instead of you in a minute or two, but family pride must be denied and set aside and mortified, and go although I wish to go, and greatly pine to brightly shine, and take the line of a hero fine, with grief condign, I must decline, I must decline, I must decline. Pish-Tish. I heard one day a gentleman say that criminals who are cut in two can hardly feel the fatal steel, and so are slain without much pain. If this is true, it's jolly for you to bid us adieu, and show both friend and foe how much you dare. I'm quite aware it's your affair, yet I declare I'd take your share, but I don't much care, I don't much care, I don't much care. All. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock, in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper on a big black block. (Exeunt Pooh-Bah and Pish-Tish.) KO. This is simply appalling! I, who allowed myself to be respited at the last moment, simply in order to benefit my native town, am now required to die within a month, and that by a man whom I have loaded with honours. Is this public gratitude? Is this— Enter Nanki Poo with a rope in his hands. Go away, sir! How dare you? Am I never to be permitted to soliloquize? Nanki Poo. Oh, go on! Don't mind me. KO. What are you going to do with that rope? Nanki Poo. I am going to terminate an unendurable existence. KO. Terminate your existence? Oh, nonsense! What for? Nanki Poo. Because you are going to marry the girl I adore. KO. Nonsense, sir! I won't permit it. I am a humane man, and if you attempt anything of the kind, I shall order your instant arrest. Come, sir, desist at once, or I summon my guard. Nanki Poo. That's absurd. If you attempt to raise an alarm, I instantly perform the happy dispatch with this dagger. KO. No, no, don't do that. This is horrible. Suddenly. Why, you cold-blooded scoundrel, are you aware that in taking your life you are committing a crime which is— Struck by an idea. Substitute! Nanki Poo. What's the matter? KO. Is it absolutely certain that you're resolved to die? Nanki Poo. Absolutely. KO. Will nothing shake your resolution? Nanki Poo. Nothing. KO. Threats, entreaties, prayers, all useless? Nanki Poo. All. My mind is made up. KO. Then if you really mean what you say, and if you are absolutely resolved to die, and if nothing whatever will shake your determination, don't spoil yourself by committing suicide, but be beheaded handsomely at the hands of the public executioner. Nanki Poo. I don't see how that will benefit me. KO. You don't? Observe. You'll have a month to live, and you'll live like a fighting cock at my expense. When the day comes, there'll be a grand public ceremonial. You'll be the central figure. No one will attempt to deprive you of that distinction. There'll be a procession, bands, dead march, bells tolling, all the girls in tears, Yum-Yum distracted. Then, when it's all over, general rejoicings, and a display of fireworks in the evening. You won't see them, but they'll be there all the same. Nanki Poo. Do you think Yum-Yum would really be distracted at my death? KO. I am convinced of it. Bless you, she's the most tender-hearted little creature alive. Nanki Poo. I should be sorry to cause her pain. Perhaps, after all, if I were to withdraw from Japan and travel in Europe for a couple of years, I might contrive to forget her. KO. Oh, I don't think you could forget Yum-Yum so easily, and after all, what is more miserable than a love-blighted life? Nanki Poo. True. KO. Life without Yum-Yum. Why, it seems absurd. Nanki Poo. And yet there are a good many people in the world who have to endure it. KO. Poor devils, yes. You are quite right not to be of their number. Nanki Poo (suddenly). I won't be of their number. KO. Noble fellow! Nanki Poo. I'll tell you how we'll manage it. Let me marry Yum-Yum to-morrow, and in a month you may behead me. KO. No, no, I draw the line at Yum-Yum. Nanki Poo. If you can draw the line, so can I. (Preparing rope.) KO. Stop! Stop! Listen one moment. Be reasonable. How can I consent to your marrying Yum Yum if I'm going to marry her myself? NANK. My good friend, she'll be a widow in a month, and you can marry her then. KO. That's true, of course. I quite see that. But, dear me, my position during the next month will be most unpleasant. Most unpleasant. NANK. Not half so unpleasant as my position at the end of it. KO. But, dear me, well, I agree. After all, it's only putting off my wedding for a month. But you won't prejudice her against me, will you? You see, I've educated her to be my wife. She's been taught to regard me as a wise and good man. Now, I wouldn't like her views on that point disturbed. NANK. Trust me, she shall never learn the truth from me. Finale. Enter Chorus, Pooh Bah, and Pish Tish. Chorus. With aspect stern and gloomy stride we come to learn how you decide. Don't hesitate your choice to name, a dreadful fate you'll suffer all the same. Pooh Bah. To ask you what you mean to do, we punctually appear. KO. Congratulate me, gentlemen, I've found a volunteer. ALL. The Japanese equivalent for hear, hear, hear. KO. Presenting him. 'Tis Nanki Poo. ALL. Hail, Nanki Poo! KO. I think he'll do. ALL. Yes, yes, he'll do. KO. He yields his life if I'll Yum Yum surrender. Now I adore that girl with passion tender, and could not yield her with a ready will, or her a lot, if I did not adore myself with passion tenderer still. Enter Yum Yum, Peep Bo, and Pitti Sing. ALL. Ah, yes, he loves himself with passion tenderer still. KO. to Nanki Poo. Take her, she's yours. (Exit Ko. Ensemble. Nanki Poo. The threatened cloud has passed away, Yum Yum, and brightly shines the dawning day. Nanki Poo. What though the night may come too soon, Yum Yum, there's yet a month of afternoon. Nanki Poo, Pooh Bah, Yum Yum, Pitti Sing, and Peep Bo. Then let the throng our joy advance with laughing song and merry dance. Chorus. With joyous shout and ringing cheer inaugurate our brief career. Pitti Sing. A day, a week, a month, a year, Yum Yum, oh far or near, or far or near. Pooh Bah. Life's eventime comes much too soon. Pitti Sing. You'll live at least a honeymoon. ALL. Then let the throng, etc. Chorus with joyous shout, etc. Solo. Pooh Bah. As in a month you've got to die, if Ko tells us true, 'twere empty compliments to cry long life to Nanki Poo. But as 1 month you have to live as fellow citizen, this toast with 3 times 3 will give long life to you till then. (Exit Pooh Bah.) Chorus. May all good fortune prosper you, may you have health and riches too, may you succeed in all you do, long life to you till then. Dance. Enter Katisha melodramatically. Katisha. Your revel cease, assist me, all of you. Chorus. Why, who is this whose evil eyes rain blight on our festivities? Katisha. I claim my perjured lover, Nanki Poo. O fool, to shun delights that never cloy! Chorus. Go, leave thy deadly work undone. Katisha. Come back, O shallow fool, come back to joy! Chorus. Away, away, ill-favoured one! Nanki Poo (aside to Yum Yum). Ah, 'tis Katisha, the maid of whom I told you. (About to go.) Katisha (detaining him). No, you shall not go. These arms shall thus enfold you. Song Katisha (addressing Nanki Poo). O fool that fleest my hallowed joys! O blind that seest no equipoise! O rash that judgest from half the whole! O base, thou grudgest love's lightest dole! Thy heart unbind! O fool, O blind! Give me my place! O rash, O base! Chorus. If she's thy bride, restore her place! O fool, O blind, O rash, O base! Katisha (addressing Yum Yum). Pink cheek that rulest where wisdom serves, Bright eye that foolest heroic nerves, Rose lip that scornest lore-laden years, Smooth tongue that warnest who rightly hears, Thy doom is nigh, Pink cheek, bright eye, Thy knell is rung, Rose lip, smooth tongue. Chorus. If true her tale, thy knell is rung, Pink cheek, bright eye, rose lip, smooth tongue. Pity Sing. Away, nor prosecute your quest From our intention well expressed You cannot turn us. The state of your connubial views Towards the person you accuse Does not concern us, For he's going to marry Yum Yum. All Yum Yum. Pity Sing. Your anger pray bury, For all will be merry. I think you had better succumb. All Come. Pity Sing. And join our expressions of glee. On this subject I pray you be dumb. All Dum. Pity Sing. You'll find there are many Who'll wed for a penny. The word for your guidance is mum. All Mum. Pity Sing. There's lots of good fish in the sea. All. On this subject we pray you be dumb, etc. Solo. Katisha. The hour of gladness is dead and gone. In silent sadness I live alone. The hope I cherished all lifeless lies, And all has perished save love which never dies. O faithless one, this insult you shall rue. In vain for mercy on your knees you'll sue. I'll tear the mask from your disguising. Nanki Poo (aside). Now comes the blow. Katisha. Prepare yourselves for news surprising. Nanki Poo (aside). How foil my foe? Katisha. No minstrel he, despite bravado. Yum Yum (aside, struck by an idea). Ha! I know! Katisha, he is the son of your— Nanki Poo, Yum Yum, and Chorus interrupting, sing Japanese words to drown her voice. O ni bikuru shakaruto! Katisha. In vain you interrupt with this tornado. He is the only son of your— All. O ni bikuru shakaruto! Katisha. I'll spoil all. O ni bikuru shakaruto! Katisha. Your gay gumbato, he is the son— All. O ni bikuru shakaruto! Katisha. Of your— All. O nikiru shakaruto! Katisha. The son of your— All. O nikiru shakaru. Ay. Ensemble. Katisha and the others. Katisha. Ye torrents roar, ye tempests howl, Your wrath outpour with angry growl. Do ye your worst, my vengeance shall rise triumphant over all. Prepare for woe, ye haughty lords, And once I go, Mikado wards, My wrongs with vengeance shall be crowned, My wrongs with vengeance shall be crowned. The others. We'll hear no more, ill-omened owl, To joy we soar, despite your scowl. The echoes of our festival call Shall rise triumphant over all. Away you go, collect your hordes, Proclaim your woe in dismal chords. We do not heed their dismal sound, For joy reigns everywhere around. Katisha rushes furiously up stage, clearing the crowd away right and left, finishing on steps at the back of stage. End of Act I. Act II of The Mikado, or The Town of Titipu, a solo recitation, by W. S. Gilbert. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Act II. Scene: Coco's garden. Yum Yum discovered seated at her bridal toilette, surrounded by maidens, who are dressing her hair and painting her face and lips, as she judges of the effect in a mirror. Solo. Pity Sing and Chorus of Girls. Chorus. Braid the raven hair, Weave the supple tress, Deck the maiden fair In her loveliness. Paint the pretty face, Dye the coral lip, Emphasize the grace Of her ladyship. Art and nature thus allied Go to make a pretty bride. Solo. Pity Sing. Sit with downcast eye, Let it brim with dew. Try if you can cry, We will do so too. When you're summoned, start Like a frightened roe. Flutter, little heart, Colour, come and go. Modesty at marriage tide Well becomes a pretty bride. Chorus. Braid the raven hair, etc. Exeunt Pity Sing, Peep Bo, and Chorus. Yum Yum. Yes, I am indeed beautiful. Sometimes I sit and wonder, in my artless Japanese way, why it is that I am so much more attractive than anybody else in the whole world. Can this be vanity? No. Nature is lovely, and rejoices in her loveliness. I am a child of Nature, and take after my mother. Song Yum Yum. The sun, whose rays are all ablaze with ever-living glory, does not deny his majesty, he scorns to tell a story. He don't exclaim, "I blush for shame, so kindly be indulgent," but fierce and bold, in fiery gold, he glories effulgent. I mean to rule the earth, as he the sky, we really know our worth, the sun and I. Observe his flame, that placid dame, the moon's celestial highness, there's not a trace upon her face of diffidence or shyness. She borrows light, that through the night mankind may all acclaim her, and, truth to tell, she lights up well, so I, for one, don't blame her. Ah, pray make no mistake, we are not shy, we're very wide awake, the moon and I. Enter Pitti Sing and Peep Bo. YUM. Yes, everything seems to smile upon me. I am to be married to-day to the man I love best, and I believe I am the very happiest girl in Japan. Peep Bo. The happiest girl indeed, for she is indeed to be envied who has attained happiness in all but perfection. YUM. In all but perfection? Peep Bo. Well, dear, it can't be denied that the fact that your husband is to be beheaded in a month is, in its way, a drawback. It does seem to take the top off it, you know. Pitti Sing. I don't know about that. It all depends. Peep Bo. At all events, he will find it a drawback. Pitti Sing. Not necessarily. Bless you, it all depends. YUM. (in tears). I think it very indelicate of you to refer to such a subject on such a day. If my married happiness is to be Peep Bo. Cut short? YUM. Well, cut short in a month, can't you let me forget it? Weeping. Enter Nanki Poo, followed by Pish Tush. Nanki Poo. Yum in tears, and on her wedding morn. YUM sobbing. They've been reminding me that in a month you're to be beheaded. Bursts into tears. Pitti Sing. Yes, we've been reminding her that you're to be beheaded. Bursts into tears. Peep Bo. It's quite true, you know. You are to be beheaded. Bursts into tears. Nanki Poo (aside). Now, some bridegrooms would be depressed by this sort of thing. Aloud. A month? Well, what's a month? Bah! These divisions of time are purely arbitrary. Who says 24 hours make a day? Pitti Sing. There's a popular impression to that effect. Nanki Poo. Then we'll efface it. We'll call each second a minute, each minute an hour, each hour a day, and each day a year. At that rate, we've about 30 years of married happiness before us. Peep Bo. And at that rate this interview has already lasted 4 hours and 3/4. Exit Peep Bo. YUM (still sobbing). Yes, how time flies when one is thoroughly enjoying oneself. Nanki Poo. That's the way to look at it. Don't let's be downhearted. There's a silver lining to every cloud. YUM. Certainly. Let's be perfectly happy. (Almost in tears.) Pish Tush. By all means. Let's thoroughly enjoy ourselves. Pitti Sing. It's absurd to cry. (Trying to force a laugh.) YUM. Quite ridiculous. (Trying to laugh.) All break forth into a forced and melancholy laugh. Madrigal. YUM, Pitti Sing, Nanki Poo, and Pish Tush. Brightly dawns our wedding day, Joyous hour, we give thee greeting. Whither art thou fleeting? Fickle moment, prithee stay. What though mortal joys be hollow, Pleasures come if sorrows follow? Though the tocsin sound ere long, Ding dong, yet until the shadows fall Over one and over all, Sing a merry madrigal, a madrigal. Fa la la, etc. (Ending in tears.) Let us dry the ready tear, Though the hours are surely creeping, Little need for woeful weeping Till the sad sundown is near. All must sip the cup of sorrow, I to-day and thou to-morrow. This the close of every song, Ding dong. What though solemn shadows fall, Sooner later over all, Sing a merry madrigal, a madrigal. Fa la la, etc. ending in tears. Exeunt Pitti Sing and Pish Tish. Nanki Poo embraces Yum Yum. Enter Ko. Nanki Poo releases Yum Yum. KO. Go on, don't mind me. Nanki Poo. I'm afraid we're distressing you. KO. Never mind. I must get used to it. Only please do it by degrees. Begin by putting your arm around her waist. Nanki Poo does so. There, let me get used to that first. Yum Yum. Oh, wouldn't you like to retire? It must pain you to see us so affectionate together. KO. No, I must learn to bear it. Now, oblige me by allowing her head to rest on your shoulder. Nanki Poo. Like that? He does so. KO. Much affected. KO. I am much obliged to you. Now, kiss her. He does so. KO writhes in anguish. Thank you. It's simple torture. Yum Yum. Come, bear up. After all, it's only for a month. KO. No, it's no use deluding oneself with false hopes. Nanki Poo and Yum Yum. What do you mean? KO. To Yum Yum. My child, my poor child. Aside. How shall I break it to her? Aloud. My little bride that was to have been. Yum Yum, delighted. Was to have been? KO. Yes, you never can be mine. Nanki Poo and Yum Yum simultaneously in ecstasy. What? I'm so glad. KO. I've just ascertained that by the Mikado's law, when a married man is beheaded, his wife is buried alive. Nanki Poo and Yum Yum. Buried alive? KO. Buried alive. It's a most unpleasant death. Nanki Poo. But whom did you get that from? KO. Oh, from Pooh Bah. He's my solicitor. Yum Yum. But he may be mistaken. KO. So I thought. So I consulted the Attorney General, the Lord Chief Justice, the Master of the Rolls, the Judge Ordinary, and the Lord Chancellor. They're all of the same opinion. Never knew such unanimity in a point of law in my life. Nanki Poo. But stop a bit. This law has never been put in force. KO. Not yet. You see, flirting is the only crime punishable with decapitation, and married men never flirt. Nanki Poo. Oh, of course they don't. I quite forgot that. Well, I suppose I may take it that my dream of happiness is at an end. Yum Yum. Darling, I don't want to appear selfish, and I love you with all my heart. I don't suppose I shall ever love anybody else half as much. But when I agreed to marry you, my own, I had no idea, pet, that I should have to be buried alive in a month. Nanki Poo. Nor I. It's the very first I've heard of it. Yum Yum. It makes a difference, doesn't it? Nanki Poo. It does make a difference, of course. Yum Yum. You see, burial alive is such a stuffy death. Nanki Poo. I call it a beast of a death. Yum Yum. You see my difficulty, don't you? Nanki Poo. Yes, and I see my own. If I insist on your carrying out your promise, I doom you to a hideous death. If I release you, you marry KO at once. Trio. Yum Yum, Nanki Poo, and KO. Yum Yum. Here's a howdy-do. If I marry you, when your time has come to perish, then the maiden whom you cherish must be slaughtered too. Here's a howdy-do. Nanki Poo. Here's a pretty mess. In a month or less. I must die without a wedding. Let the bitter tears I'm shedding witness my distress. Here's a pretty mess. KO. Here's a state of things. To her life she clings. Matrimonial devotion doesn't seem to suit her notion. Burial it brings. Here's a state of things. Ensemble. Yum Yum and Nanki Poo and KO. Yum Yum and Nanki Poo. With a passion that's intense, I worship and adore, but the laws of common sense we oughtn't to ignore. If what he says is true, 'tis death to marry you. Here's a pretty state of things, here's a pretty howdy-do. KO. With a passion that's intense you worship and adore, but the laws of common sense you oughtn't to ignore. If what I say is true, 'tis death to marry you. Here's a pretty state of things, here's a pretty howdy-do. Exit Yum Yum. KO. Going up to Nanki Poo. My poor boy, I'm really very sorry for you. Nanki Poo. Thanks, old fellow, I'm sure you are. KO. You see, I'm quite helpless. Nanki Poo. I quite see that. KO. I can't conceive anything more distressing than to have one's marriage broken off at the last moment. But you shan't be disappointed of a wedding. You shall come to mine. Nanki Poo. It's awfully kind of you, but that's impossible. KO. Why so? Nanki Poo. Today I die. KO. What do you mean? Nanki Poo. I can't live without Yum Yum. This afternoon I perform the happy dispatch. KO. No, no, pardon me, I can't allow that. Nanki Poo. Why not? KO. Why, hang it all, you're under contract to die by the hand of the public executioner in a month's time. If you kill yourself, what's to become of me? Why, I shall have to be executed in your place. Nanki Poo. It would certainly seem so. Enter Pooh Bah. KO. Now then, Lord Mayor, what is it? Pooh Bah. The Mikado and his suite are approaching the city, and will be here in 10 minutes. KO. The Mikado! He's coming to see whether his orders have been carried out. To Nanki Poo. Now, look here, you know, this is getting serious. A bargain's a bargain, and you really mustn't frustrate the ends of justice by committing suicide. As a man of honour and a gentleman, you are bound to die ignominiously by the hands of the public executioner. Nanki Poo. Very well, then, behead me. KO. What? Now? Nanki Poo. Certainly, at once. Pooh Bah. Chop it off! Chop it off! KO. My good sir, I don't go about prepared to execute gentlemen at a moment's notice. Why, I never even killed a bluebottle. Pooh Bah. Still, as Lord High Executioner— KO. My good sir, as Lord High Executioner, I've got to behead him in a month. I'm not ready yet. I don't know how it's done. I'm going to take lessons. I mean to begin with a guinea pig, and work my way through the animal kingdom till I come to a second trombone. Why, you don't suppose that, as a humane man, I'd have accepted the post of Lord High Executioner if I hadn't thought the duties were purely nominal. I can't kill you. I can't kill anything. I can't kill anybody. Weeps. Nanki Poo. Come, my poor fellow, we all have unpleasant duties to discharge at times. After all, what is it? If I don't mind, why should you? Remember, sooner or later it must be done. KO. Springing up suddenly. Must it? I'm not so sure about that. Nanki Poo. What do you mean? KO. Why should I kill you when making an affidavit that you've been executed will do just as well? Here are plenty of witnesses: the Lord Chief Justice, Lord High Admiral, Commander-in-Chief, Secretary of State for the Home Department, First Lord of the Treasury, and Chief Commissioner of Police. Nanki Poo. But where are they? KO. There they are. They'll all swear to it, won't you? To Pooh Bah. Pooh Bah. Am I to understand that all of us high officers of state are required to perjure ourselves to ensure your safety? KO. Why not? You'll be grossly insulted, as usual. Pooh Bah. Will the insult be cash down or at a date? KO. It will be a ready money transaction. Pooh Bah (aside). Well, it will be a useful discipline. Aloud. Very good. Choose your fiction, and I'll endorse it. (Aside.) Ha ha! Family pride. How do you like that, my buck? Nanki Poo. But I tell you that life without Yum Yum— KO. Oh, Yum Yum! Yum Yum! Bother Yum Yum! Here, commissionaire (to Pooh Bah), go and fetch Yum Yum. (Exit Pooh Bah.) Take Yum Yum and marry Yum Yum, only go away and never come back again. Enter Pooh Bah with Yum Yum. Here she is. Yum Yum, are you particularly busy? Yum Yum. Not particularly. KO. You've 5 minutes to spare? Yum Yum. Yes. KO. Then go along with his Grace the Archbishop of Titipu. He'll marry you at once. Yum Yum. But if I'm to be buried alive? KO. Now don't ask any questions, but do as I tell you, and Nanki Poo will explain all. Nanki Poo. But one moment. KO. Not for worlds. Here comes the Mikado, no doubt to ascertain whether I've obeyed his decree, and if he finds you alive, I shall have the greatest difficulty in persuading him that I've beheaded you. Exeunt Nanki Poo and Yum Yum, followed by Pooh Bah. Close thing that, for here he comes. Exit Ko. March. Enter procession heralding Mikado with Katisha. Entrance of Mikado and Katisha. March of the Mikado troops. Chorus. Miya-sama, Om Nam Semya Nomeni, Para Siru Nawa, Nangiyani, Poko Tako Dargi. Duet, Mikado and Katisha. Mikado. From every kind of man obedience I expect. I'm the Emperor of Japan, Katisha, and I'm his daughter-in-law elect. He'll marry his son, he's only got one, to his daughter-in-law elect. Mikado. My morals have been declared particularly correct, Katisha, but they're nothing at all compared with those of his daughter-in-law elect. Bow, bow to his daughter-in-law elect. All. Bow, bow to his daughter-in-law elect. Mikado. In a fatherly kind of way I govern each tribe and sect. All cheerfully own my sway, Katisha, except his daughter-in-law elect. As tough as a bone, with a will of her own, is his daughter-in-law elect. Mikado. My nature is love and light, my freedom from all defect, Katisha, is insignificant quite compared with his daughter-in-law elect. Bow, bow to his daughter-in-law elect. All. Bow, bow to his daughter-in-law elect. Song. Mikado and Chorus. A more humane Mikado never did in Japan exist. To nobody's second I'm certainly reckoned a true philanthropist. It is my very humane endeavour to make, to some extent, each evil liver a running river of harmless merriment. My object all sublime I shall achieve in time, to let the punishment fit the crime, the punishment fit the crime, and make each prisoner pent unwillingly represent a source of innocent merriment, of innocent merriment. All prosy, dull society sinners who chatter and bleat and bore are sent to hear sermons from mystical Germans who preach from 10 till 4. The amateur tenor whose vocal villainies all desire to shirk shall during off hours exhibit his powers to Madame Tussaud's wax work. The lady who dyes a chemical yellow, or stains her grey hair puce, or pinches her figure, is painted with vigour with permanent walnut juice. The idiot who, in railway carriages, scribbles on window panes, we only suffer to ride on a buffer in parliamentary trains. My object all sublime, etc. Chorus. His object all sublime, etc. The advertising quack who wearies with tales of countless cures, his teeth, I've enacted, shall all be extracted by terrified amateurs. The music hall singer attends a series of masses and fugues and ops, by Bach interwoven with Spohr and Beethoven, at classical Monday pops. The billiard sharp who anyone catches, his doom extremely hard, he's made to dwell in a dungeon cell on a spot that's always barred. And there he plays extravagant matches in fitless finger stalls, on a cloth untrue with a twisted cue, and elliptical billiard balls. My object all sublime, etc. Chorus. His object all sublime, etc. Enter Pooh Bah, Ko, and Pitti Sing. All kneel. Pooh Bah hands a paper to Ko. I am honoured in being permitted to welcome your Majesty. I guess the object of your Majesty's visit, your wishes have been attended to. The execution has taken place. Mikado. Oh, you've had an execution, have you? Ko. Yes, the coroner has just handed me his certificate. Pooh Bah. I am the coroner. Ko hands certificate to Mikado. Mikado. And this is the certificate of his death. Reads: At Titipu, in the presence of the Lord Chancellor, Lord Chief Justice, Attorney General, Secretary of State for the Home Department, Lord Mayor, and groom of the second floor front. POOH. They were all present, your Majesty. I counted them myself. Mikado. Very good house. I wish I'd been in time for the performance. KO. A tough fellow he was, too, a man of gigantic strength. His struggles were terrific. It was a remarkable scene. Mikado. Describe it. Trio and Chorus. KO, Pity Sing, Pooh and Chorus. KO. The criminal cried as he dropped him down in a state of wild alarm. With a frightful, frantic, fearful frown, I bared my big right arm. I seized him by his little pigtail, and on his knees fell he. As he squirmed and struggled and gurgled and guggled, I drew my snickersnee. Oh, never shall I forget the cry, or the shriek that shrieked he, as I gnashed my teeth when from its sheath I drew my snickersnee. Chorus. We know him well, he cannot tell untrue or groundless tales. He always tries to utter lies, and every time he fails. Pity Sing. He shivered and shook as he gave the sign for the stroke he didn't deserve, when all of a sudden his eye met mine, and it seemed to brace his nerve. For he nodded his head and kissed his hand, and he whistled an air, did he, as the sabre true cut cleanly through his cervical vertebrae. When a man's afraid, a beautiful maid is a cheering sight to see, and it's oh, I'm glad that moment sad was soothed by sight of me. Chorus. Her terrible tale you can't assail, with truth it quite agrees, her taste exact for faultless fact amounts to a disease. POOH. Now though you've had said that head was dead, for its owner dead was he, it stood on its neck with a smile well bred, and bowed 3 times to me. It was none of your impudent off-hand nods, but as humble as could be, for it clearly knew the deference due to a man of pedigree. And it's oh, I vow, this deathly bow was a touching sight to see, though trunkless, yet it couldn't forget the deference due to me. Chorus. This haughty youth, he speaks the truth whenever he finds it pays, and in this case it all took place exactly as he says. Exeunt Chorus. Mikado. All this is very interesting, and I should like to have seen it, but we came about a totally different matter. A year ago my son, the heir to the throne of Japan, bolted from our imperial court. KO. Indeed! Had he any reason to be dissatisfied with his position? Katisha. None whatever. On the contrary, I was going to marry him. Yet he fled. POOH. I am surprised that he should have fled from one so lovely. Katisha. That's not true. POOH. No. Katisha. You hold that I am not beautiful because my face is plain. But you know nothing, you are still unenlightened. Learn, then, that it is not in the face alone that beauty is to be sought. My face is unattractive. POOH. It is. Katisha. But I have a left shoulder blade that is a miracle of loveliness. People come miles to see it. My right elbow has a fascination that few can resist. POOH. Allow me. Katisha. It is on view Tuesdays and Fridays on presentation of visiting card. As for my circulation, it is the largest in the world. KO. And yet he fled. Mikado. And is now masquerading in this town disguised as a second trombone. KO, Pooh and Pity Sing. A second trombone? Mikado. Yes, would it be troubling you too much if I asked you to produce him? He goes by the name of Katisha. Nanki Poo. Mikado. Nanki Poo. KO. Oh, it's quite easy. That is, it's rather difficult. In point of fact, he's gone abroad. Mikado. Gone abroad? His address? KO. Knightsbridge. Katisha, who is reading certificate of death. Ah! Mikado. What's the matter? Katisha. See here, his name, Nanki Poo, beheaded this morning. Oh, where shall I find another? Where shall I find another? Ko, Pooh-Bah, and Pitti Sing fall on their knees. Mikado, looking at paper. Dear, dear, dear! This is very tiresome. To Ko. My poor fellow, in your anxiety to carry out my wishes, you have beheaded the heir to the throne of Japan. Ko. Oh, I beg to offer an unqualified apology. Pooh-Bah. I desire to associate myself with that expression of regret. Pitti Sing. We really hadn't the least notion. Mikado. Of course you hadn't. How could you? Come, come, my good fellow, don't distress yourself. It was no fault of yours. If a man of exalted rank chooses to disguise himself as a second trombone, he must take the consequences. It really distresses me to see you take on so. I've no doubt he thoroughly deserved all he got. They rise. Ko. We are infinitely obliged to your Majesty. Pitti Sing. Much obliged, your Majesty. Pooh-Bah. Very much obliged, your Majesty. Mikado. Obliged? Not a bit. Don't mention it. How could you tell? Pooh-Bah. No, of course we couldn't tell who the gentleman really was. Pitti Sing. It wasn't written on his forehead, you know. Ko. It might have been on his pocket handkerchief, but Japanese don't use pocket handkerchiefs. Ha, ha, ha. Mikado. Ha, 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 to Katisha. I forget the punishment for compassing the death of the heir apparent. Ko, Pooh-Bah, and Pitti Sing. Punishment? They drop down on their knees again. Mikado. Yes, something lingering, with boiling oil in it, I fancy. Something of that sort. I think boiling oil occurs in it, but I'm not sure. I know it's something humorous, but lingering, with either boiling oil or melted lead. Come, come, don't fret. I'm not a bit angry. Ko, in abject terror. If your Majesty will accept our assurance, we had no idea. Mikado. Of course. Pitti Sing. I knew nothing about it. Pooh-Bah. I wasn't there. Mikado. That's the pathetic part of it. Unfortunately, the fool of an act says, compassing the death of the heir apparent. There's not a word about a mistake. Ko, Pitti Sing, and Pooh-Bah. No! Mikado. Or not knowing. Ko, no. Mikado. Or having no notion. Pitti Sing, no. Mikado. Or not being there. Pooh-Bah. No. Mikado. There should be, of course. Ko, Pitti Sing, and Pooh-Bah. Yes. Mikado. But there isn't. Ko, Pitti Sing, and Pooh-Bah. Oh. Mikado. That's the slovenly way in which these acts are always drawn. However, cheer up. It'll be all right. I'll have it altered next session. Now let's get about your execution. Will after luncheon suit you? Can you wait till then? Ko, Pitti Sing, and Pooh-Bah. Oh yes, we can wait till then. Mikado. Then we'll make it after luncheon. Pooh-Bah. I don't want any lunch. Mikado. I'm really very sorry for you all, but it's an unjust world, and virtue is triumphant only in theatrical performances. Glee. Pitti Sing, Katisha, Ko, Pooh-Bah, and Mikado. Mikado. See how the fates their gifts allot, for A is happy, B is not. Yet B is worthy, I dare say, of more prosperity than A. Ko, Pooh-Bah, and Pitti Sing. Is B more worthy? Katisha. I should say he's worth a great deal more than A. Ensemble. Yet A is happy, oh so happy, laughing ha ha ha, chaffing ha ha, nectar quaffing ha ha ha, ever joyous, ever gay, happy, undeserving A. Ko, Pooh-Bah, and Pitti Sing. If I were Fortune, which I'm not, B would enjoy A's happy lot, and A should die in misery, that is assuming I am B. Mikado and Katisha. But should A perish? Ko, Pooh-Bah, and Pitti Sing. That should be, of course, assuming I am B. B should be happy, oh so happy, laughing ha ha, chaffing ha ha, nectar quaffing ha ha ha, but condemned to die is he, wretched meritorious B. Exeunt Mikado and Katisha. Ko. Well, a nice mess you've got us into with your nodding head and the deference due to a man of pedigree. Pooh-Bah. Merely corroborative detail, intended to give artistic verisimilitude to an otherwise bald and unconvincing narrative. Pitti Sing. Corroborative detail, indeed! Corroborative fiddlestick! Ko. And you're just as bad as he with your cockable stories about catching his eye and his whistling an air. But that's so like you. You must put in your oar. POOH. But how about your big right arm? PITTI. Yes, and your snicker-snee. KO. Well, never mind that now. There's only one thing to be done. Nanki Poo hasn't started yet. He must come to life again at once. Enter Nanki Poo and Yum Yum, prepared for journey. Here he comes. Here, Nanki Poo, I've got good news for you. You're reprieved. Nanki Poo. Oh, but it's too late. I'm a dead man, and I'm off for my honeymoon. KO. Nonsense. A terrible thing has just happened. It seems you're the son of the Mikado. Nanki Poo. Yes, but that happened some time ago. KO. Is this a time for airy persiflage? Your father is here, and with Katisha. Nanki Poo. My father! And with Katisha! KO. Yes, he wants you particularly. POOH. So does she. Yum Yum. Oh, but he's married now. KO. But bless my heart, what has that to do with it? Nanki Poo. Katisha claims me in marriage, but I can't marry her because I'm married already. Consequently, she will insist on my execution, and if I'm executed, my wife will have to be buried alive. Yum Yum. You see our difficulty. KO. Yes, I don't know what's to be done. Nanki Poo. There's one chance for you. If you could persuade Katisha to marry you, she would have no further claim on me, and in that case I could come to life without any fear of being put to death. KO. I marry Katisha? Yum Yum. I really think it's the only course. KO. But, my good girl, have you seen her? She's something appalling. PITTI. Ah, that's only her face. She has a left elbow which people come miles to see. POOH. I am told that her right heel is much admired by connoisseurs. KO. My good sir, I decline to pin my heart upon any lady's right heel. Nanki Poo. It comes to this. While Katisha is single, I prefer to be a disembodied spirit. When Katisha is married, existence will be as welcome as the flowers in spring. Duet. Nanki Poo and Koko. With Yum Yum, PITTI, and Pooh. Nanki Poo. The flowers that bloom in the spring, tra-la, breathe promise of merry sunshine. As we merrily dance and we sing, tra-la, we welcome the hope that they bring, tra-la, of a summer of roses and wine. And that's what we mean when we say that a thing is welcome as flowers that bloom in the spring, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, etc. All. Tra-la-la-la-la-la, etc. KO. The flowers that bloom in the spring, tra-la, have nothing to do with the case. I've got to take under my wing, tra-la, a most unattractive old thing, tra-la, with a caricature of a face. And that's what I mean when I say, or I sing, oh, bother the flowers that bloom in the spring, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, etc. All. Tra-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la, etc. Dance and exeunt Nanki Poo, Yum Yum, Pooh, PITTI, and Koko. Enter Katisha. Recitative and song. Katisha. Alone and yet alive, O sepulchre! My soul is still my body's prisoner. Remote the peace that death alone can give. My doom to wait, my punishment to live. Song. Hearts do not break, they sting and ache For old love's sake, but do not die, Though with each breath they long for death, As witnesseth the living eye. O living eye, come tell me why, When hope is gone, dost thou stay on? Why linger here where all is drear? O living eye, come tell me why, When hope is gone, dost thou stay on? May not a cheated maiden die? KO. Entering and approaching her timidly. Katisha? Katisha. The miscreant who robbed me of my love! But vengeance pursues. They are heating the cauldron. KO. Katisha. Behold a suppliant at your feet. Katisha. Mercy! Katisha. Mercy? Had you mercy on him? See here, you have slain my love. He did not love me, but he would have loved me in time. I am an acquired taste. Only the educated palate can appreciate me. I was educating his palate when he left me. Well, he is dead, and where shall I find another? It takes years to train a man to love me. Am I to go through the weary round again, and at the same time implore mercy for you, who robbed me of my my pupil, just as his education was on the point of completion? Oh, where shall I find another? KO. Suddenly and with great vehemence. Here! Here! KAT. What? KO. With intense passion. Katisha, for years I have loved you with a white-hot passion that is slowly but surely consuming my very vitals. Ah, shrink not from me. If there is aught of woman's mercy in your heart, turn not away from a lovesick suppliant whose every fibre thrills at your tiniest touch. True it is that under a poor mask of disgust I have endeavoured to conceal a passion whose inner fires are broiling the soul within me. But the fire will not be smothered. It defies all attempts at extinction, and breaking forth all the more eagerly for its long restraint, it declares itself in words that will not be weighed, that cannot be schooled, that should not be too severely criticized. Katisha, I dare not hope for your love, but I will not live without it. Darling! KAT. You, whose hands still reek with the blood of my betrothed, dare to address words of passion to the woman you have so foully wronged? KO. I do. Accept my love, or I perish on the spot. KAT. Go to. Who knows so well as I that no one ever yet died of a broken heart? KO. You know not what you say. Listen. Song. KO. On a tree by a river a little tomtit sang willow, titwillow, titwillow. And I said to him, Dicky bird, why do you sit singing willow, titwillow, titwillow? Is it weakness of intellect, birdie, I cried, or a rather tough worm in your little inside? With a shake of his poor little head he replied, Oh, willow, titwillow, titwillow. He slapped at his chest as he sat on that bough, singing willow, titwillow, titwillow. And a cold perspiration bespangled his brow, Oh, willow, titwillow, titwillow. He sobbed and he sighed, and a gurgle he gave. Then he plunged himself into the billowy wave, and an echo arose from the suicide's grave, Oh, willow, titwillow, titwillow. Now I feel just as sure as I'm sure that my name isn't willow, titwillow, titwillow, that 'twas blighted affection that made him exclaim, Oh, willow, titwillow, titwillow. And if you remain callous and obdurate, I shall perish as he did, and you will know why, though I probably shall not exclaim as I die, Oh, willow, titwillow, titwillow. During this song Katisha has been greatly affected, and at the end is almost in tears. Katisha whimpering. Did he really die of love? KO. He really did. Katisha. All on account of a cruel little hen? KO. Yes. Katisha. Poor little chap. KO. It's an affecting tale, and quite true. I knew the bird intimately. Katisha. Did you? He must have been very fond of her. KO. His devotion was something extraordinary. Katisha (still whimpering). Poor little chap! And if I refuse you, you will go and do the same? KO. At once. Katisha. No, no, you mustn't. Anything but that. Falls on his breast. Oh, I'm a silly little goose. KO. (making a wry face). Oh, you are. Katisha. And you won't hate me because I'm just a little wee bit bloodthirsty, will you? KO. Hate you? Oh, Katisha, is there not beauty even in bloodthirstiness? Katisha. My idea exactly. Duet. Katisha and Koko. Katisha. There is beauty in the bellow of the blast. There is grandeur in the growling of the gale. There is eloquent outpouring when the lion is a-roaring and the tiger is a-lashing of his tail. KO. Yes, I like to see a tiger from the Congo or the Niger, and especially when lashing of his tail. Katisha. Volcanoes have a splendor that is grim, and earthquakes only terrify the dolts, but to him who's scientific, there's nothing that's terrific in the falling of a flight of thunderbolts. KO. Yes, in spite of all my meekness, if I have a little weakness, it's a passion for a flight of thunderbolts. BOTH. If that is so, sing derry down derry, it's evident very our tastes are one. Away we'll go and merrily marry, nor tardily tarry till day is done. KO. There is beauty in extreme old age. Do you fancy you are elderly enough? Information I'm requesting on a subject interesting. Is a maiden all the better when she's tough? Katisha. Throughout this wide dominion it's the general opinion that she'll last a good deal longer when she's tough. KO. Are you old enough to marry, do you think? Won't you wait till you are 80 in the shade? There's a fascination frantic in a ruin that's romantic. Do you think you are sufficiently decayed? Katisha. To the matter that you mention I have given some attention, and I think I am sufficiently decayed. BOTH. If that is so, sing derry down derry, it's evident very our tastes are one. Away we'll go and merrily marry, nor tardily tarry till day is done. Exeunt together. Flourish. Enter the Mikado, attended by Pish-Tish and Court. Mikado. Now then, we've had a capital lunch, and we're quite ready. Have all the painful preparations been made? Pish-Tish. Your Majesty, all is prepared. Mikado. Then produce the unfortunate gentleman and his two well-meaning but misguided accomplices. Enter Ko-Ko, Katisha, Pooh-Bah, and Pitti-Sing. They throw themselves at the Mikado's feet. Katisha. Mercy, mercy for Ko-Ko, mercy for Pitti-Sing, mercy even for Pooh-Bah. Mikado. I beg your pardon. I don't think I quite caught that remark. Pooh-Bah. Mercy even for Pooh-Bah. Katisha. Mercy! My husband that was to have been is dead, and I have just married this miserable object. Mikado. Oh, you've not been long about it. Ko-Ko. We were married before the registrar. Pooh-Bah. I am the registrar. Mikado. I see. But my difficulty is that, as you have slain the heir apparent— Enter Nanki Poo and Yum Yum. They kneel. Nanki Poo. The heir apparent is not slain. Mikado. Bless my heart, my son! Yum Yum. And your daughter-in-law elected. Katisha (seizing Ko-Ko). Traitor! You have deceived me! Mikado. Yes, you are entitled to a little explanation, but I think he will give it better whole than in pieces. Ko-Ko. Your Majesty, it's like this. It is true that I stated that I had killed Nanki Poo. Mikado. Yes, with most affecting particulars. Pooh-Bah. Merely corroborative detail intended to give artistic verisimilitude to a bald and— Ko-Ko. Will you refrain from putting in your oar? To Mikado. It's like this. When your Majesty says, let a thing be done, it's as good as done. Practically it is done, because your Majesty will is law. Your Majesty says, kill a gentleman, and a gentleman is told off to be killed. Consequently, that gentleman is as good as dead. Practically he is dead, and if he is dead, why not say so? Mikado. I see. Nothing could possibly be more satisfactory. Finale. Pitti-Sing. For he's gone and married Yum Yum. All Yum Yum. Pitti-Sing. Your anger pray bury, for all will be merry. I think you had better succumb. All. Come, come. Pitti-Sing. And join our expressions of glee. Ko-Ko. On this subject I pray you be dumb. All. Dum-dum. Ko-Ko. Your notions, though many, are not worth a penny. The word for your guidance is mum. All. Mum. Ko-Ko. You've a very good bargain in me. All. On this subject we pray you be dumb. Dum-dum. We think you had better succumb. Come. You'll find there are many who'll wed for a penny. There are lots of good fish in the sea. Yum Yum and Nanki Poo. The threatened cloud has passed away, and brightly shines the dawning day. What though the night may come too soon? We've years and years of afternoon. All. Then let the throng our joy advance, with laughing song and merry dance, with joyous shout and ringing cheer, inaugurate our new career. Then let the throng, etc. Curtain. End of Act II. End of The Mikado by W. S. Gilbert.